When I lived in New York, I remember seeing a story in the local news. In one of the poor neighborhoods of Brooklyn, back then there was such a thing, a house caught on fire in the middle of the night. A woman with a child were screaming for help from the second floor window, but no firemen were in sight. A man was driving by in his construction van. He stops, takes the ladder from the top of his truck, climbs up, brings the woman down onto the ground, together with her child, and then disappears. The whole city is looking for the hero. They found him, and they right away understood what he was doing in that area in the middle of the night, and why he took off so quickly right after he saved these people. He was driving home from a robbery. His minivan was filled with stolen electronics. And the very ladder that he used to save the woman and child was used an hour earlier by him to climb into a store's warehouse. So tell me, is this man a hero or a villain? Is he a good person or a bad person? The Torah says that people cannot be categorized as good or bad. Only people's actions can be good or bad. For a good deed, person should be rewarded. For a bad one, he should be punished. In Psalms, King David writes, "Let sins vanish." The commentators point out that he is praying for the disappearance of the sins, not the sinners. Some people think that in order to love and respect others, we should never judge their actions. But then we will not have such a concept as right and wrong. We will not have justice. But they argue, if I judge the actions of other people, I will not be able to love them. The Torah insists that we, in our minds, should always separate people from their deeds. It is not simple, but the same person performs many different actions. Some of them are good and some of them are bad. According to Judaism, people do not exist for a purely utilitarian function. We are much more than what we do. As a part of my job, I sometimes visit prisons, and I also meet with the families of inmates. Imagine the position of a mother whose son committed a crime. She certainly condemns his actions, but she does not stop loving him. This is because her connection to her son is much deeper than what he does. The Torah tells us to love our neighbor like ourselves. My love for myself does not depend on what I do. People always love themselves. However, I often berate myself for my actions. The Torah prescribes many norms of behavior, and I judge my own actions and the actions of others according to these norms. But while condemning the deeds of another person, I must make sure that it would never result in me judging the other person himself. Just like I never judge myself, only my actions.